This is the first result you'll get if you search for CRM Google Sheets in Google. So I believe a lot of startups are actually using this as their first CRM. It works, but we both know it's barely functioning. I'm Aaron, I'm a Notion consultant, and I help businesses save hundreds of hours by improving their current system. In this video, I'll walk you through the entire process to turn this basic CRM into one that's on steroids. There's also going to be a gift at the end of the video. So you'll want to use a system that is both scalable and flexible, which is why I recommend using Notion. Since Notion is like Lego pieces, you need to build it yourself, but you can also improve it however you want by adding formulas, relations, and other cool stuff. Don't worry, I'm going to show you how to build the best CRM you ever use step by step, so you don't get overwhelmed. So we'll create the CRM based on the Google Sheets one first, then only after that we'll start improving it and turn the CRM into something truly amazing. So first we'll create a database, so /database, and let's name it CRMDB. And now we're just going to add a few properties. So name, I'm just going to change it to company name. For contact name, we'll actually skip it for now and improve it later, because currently you can only store one contact details per company. So if the company has multiple stakeholders, you just can't store all of their details. So the next property we're going to add is the email property and also the phone property, just to store some company details. We're also going to add a status property. So we're going to have lead, and then we're going to have prospect, and we're going to have in progress, that's fine, and we're going to have this as won, and finally lost. You can add more if you want, but this is fine for me. I also like to record their website inside my CRM, so I'm just going to add a URL and change the name to website. For the last interacted on property, we're actually going to skip it and improve it later using some advanced Notion features, because the issue with the Google Sheets CRM is that you only know when you last interacted with them. You won't know how many times you contacted them, who you contacted, what is the content of the interaction, and just a lot of information is lost. For the rest of the properties, is purely preference. I like it simple, so I'm just going to leave it like this. Now, this is the fun part where you'll see what Notion is truly capable of. We're going to create a database called ContactsDB, and we're going to add a few properties. So email, phone. I'm also going to add a select property, maybe for gender, position maybe, and one more we're going to add like country. Now, we're going to connect the two databases together by using the relations property. So you click on relation and then search the CRMDB, which is this one, toggle the two-way relation, and then just name it contacts for the two-way relation, and this one I'm going to name it as company. And now you can see they are connected together. So I'm going to add a company here. So this one, let's say Opsential. And now whenever you want to create a new contact, you just go to this part here, click on it, and then just add the contact's name, and then click on the new and click inside, and now you can enter the contact's information. So country, Malaysia. With this setup, you can create as many contacts as you want while still being related to the company. Another thing you can do if you want is actually change the icon to something nicer. So maybe something like this. And yeah, you can see it looks a lot better. So what you can do to make it enter the default icon is actually clicking on the new template here, and then click on add icon, select the icon, and then under this drop down menu, just click on this and set as default. So now whenever you create a contact, so let's say something like this, and you can see now it included the icon. Another feature that is crucial in a CRM is tracking interactions. So to do that, just create another database, and then let's name it interactions DB. Also, don't worry about how the CRM looks currently. I'll give you a few tips on how to make this page look a lot better later. But for now, we'll focus on getting the CRM backend working first. So for this, add in a few properties as well. So we want date, which is to know when we contacted them. Maybe select property or contact method like text or email or video conferencing. We're going to add another select, which is going to be platform, Google Meet, Zoom, Slack, Discord, and yeah, that should be good. So we're going to connect the interactions database with the other databases as well, similarly with the contacts database just now, which is using the relation property. So like this, and then we're going to choose CRM, which is going to be company, and then two-way relation. Let's put this as interactions and add relation. We're going to do that for the contacts as well to know who we contacted. So relation, contact, two-way relation, contact, and this one interactions as well. And there you go. Now they're all connected to each other. Now we're going to clean up and design this page to give it that premium feel. First thing first, the most easiest thing that you can do to make this look better is just simply change the icon of the properties. So I'm just gonna put this one and also this one for consistency. For company here, maybe I would use the Capitol building, this one as well. For context, we're just gonna use the same user icon. And what we're going to do next is actually create a few database views just to organize things a little better. So for the CRM DB, you will just hide the database title and now you can see the view name. So the first view I would want is actually the active view. Change the filter here to status in progress like this. Change it to a star icon. So any of my current clients will show up here. So what I would do before creating the second view is actually just adjust everything to be a little nicer. So this does look good enough. So we're just gonna right click here, duplicate it. And this time this one would be named potential, which is for the status lead and prospect. So like this, change this one to the arrow like this. Yep, that's good. And finally, we're going to have one more view, which is called done. And we're going to change this to the checkbox icon. So like this, change the filter to the completed status. So whenever the lead becomes your prospect, you change it like this. Prospect become your client, you change it like this. And then finally, when you have completed it, just change it to won and it will come to the done view. Now within the CRM database, you want to open it and go to the customize layout button. So in here, I would actually suggest you to use the tab view and then click on the add a new tab and click on the context, which is just now what we related, and also the interactions database. So in here, you can do the same thing, just adjust everything to look nice. So in this case, since we already have the company name here, I don't think we need this. So I'm just going to hide it. I need the date to be first because it's very important. And I want to know who I contacted, the name, which is the topic. So I'm just going to change it to topic. I'm going to make it a little smaller. And yeah, that looks good. For contact, same thing. We're going to hide this. And then the country can be smaller. Gender can also be smaller. Interactions we can hide because it's up there already. That looks good. And then under here, we're just going to change the view title to overview. And then just going to use the information. And once you're done, just click on apply to all pages. And you can see now you have the tab view on top. If you don't like the tab view, you can actually do something like this instead. So customize layout and then click on the plus icon here to add a panel. Search for context and then also search for interaction. Okay. And then just click on apply to all pages. So within here, you can actually just, let's say, for example, at an interaction, what you can do is actually, let's say I put in like the company, the contact method, the date, click on these 3 dots here, and then you can put in all the information like so. So it's up to you which one you like. I personally like the tab view more because if the interactions gets a little too many, like let's say 7, then this page will look really messy and I don't really like it. Both ways are great. This is just so that you have all the information at one single page instead of needing to go to the context DB or the interactions DB and search through it one by one. So for example, if we want to see when did we last contacted them, we can just click inside here and then go to the interactions page or just directly down here. Another thing why I like the tab view more is because inside here you can actually add a sort date, and in this case I want it to be descending, so the latest one will be on top. Save for all pages, and there you go. So moving on to the interactions database, we would actually have 2 different views. The first view would actually be for future interactions, and right arrow for the filter, we'll choose the date, and then in here we'll choose is on or after, and then click on the drop down menu and select today. So any interactions that will be today or after today will be shown here. And one more thing I really like is actually using the gallery view, which I will show why later. But if you click on here, we do not want the page, the card preview, so none. The property visibility, just select everything and just adjust it to how you want it. Another thing we're going to do is duplicate it, and this time we're going to have it called logs. It's just for past interactions. In the filter, this time we're going to choose is before today, so any interactions that has passed will be shown here. So for example, if you have a meeting next week, you can go here, go to interactions, new page, and just select next week, and you can see it will show up here. Next, we're going to do some simple visual improvements to really kick it up a notch. I like to do this, but it's purely personal preference. I like to use the callout block, and what I would do is actually change the background to default, so it will be transparent like this. I would just give it a title, so let's say pipeline and then bold it. Then I will use 3 dashes, so 1, 2, 3, and you will see it will create a line like this. Drag the database inside, and you can see it looks a lot better already. Maybe not yet because all these things are quite messy. So let me just delete this here like this, and we're gonna do it for the interactions as well. So slash callout interactions, bold it, 3 lines, all icon, and we're gonna drag it inside. So this is why we actually use the gallery view. You notice here that actually this does not require much space at all. So what we'll do is actually drag these interactions to this left side of the pipeline, and you'll see this line here. If you let go, it will actually create 2 columns like this. So you just drag it all the way like this, and you can see that the interactions and the pipeline looks perfect side to side. So in this case, I don't really like this scroll bar, so I'm just going to reduce the size here, reduce the size here a little, and reduce this size a little bit, just like this. And that looks great. And now what we're going to do is actually click on this here and turn the databases into pages, essentially destroying all of our progress so far. I'm joking, of course, but this is actually best practice when you have scattered databases all around. So what you will do is just change everything into page like this, put it into a drop-down menu like so. So drag this one inside, drag this one inside, and drag this one inside, just like that. And just to really hide it even better, I will create a 3 line like this, and then just bring it all the way down. In here, I'm going to just change the text to gray like that, so you really cannot see it that well. So how do we get back the view? Slash linked, and we would link it to the database. So in this case, CRM, and you notice here, it still have your views that you created just now. So don't worry, it did not disappear, it's still there. Click inside here, just hide this one. Click on the new view. It actually doesn't matter which one you pick. You can even click on calendar, for example, and you click on the CRMDB, and it will turn it back to what it was previously. So like this again, and then turn it to done, and there you go. So now everything is back to normal. Let's do it for the interactions as well. Slash link, and then interaction like this, change it to future, and then let's create another database. So hide the data source title like this, interactions, and log. And there you go. And perfect. So now you can see it looks so much cleaner now. So why do we want to go through the hassle of doing all of this? That's because that if, let's say, for example, some people accidentally delete the entire database, luckily the information is still inside here. Another thing is that you're sort of creating a database view default template. So if you, let's say, you want to have another CRMDB, only the active view somewhere in other pages, you can just create the link view like this. Just select the CRM, and you'll see that all of the views are still here. So even if somebody were to change the view here, like hiding the email, it will still have the default template in the original database. One small drawback about this though is, let's say if you were to change the database view, like filter, sort, or the column size, things like that, then I would suggest to actually change it inside the database directly instead of changing it here, just so that the settings is saved inside the original database. Hopefully that makes sense. And finally, we're going to add a quick navigation section to see all of your interactions and contact stuff. So we're going to do the same thing, call out block, and then in this case, it's going to be called navigation. Bold it, triple line, and we're going to change this to a globe. Yep, that's good. And in this case, we're going to create a page for context, because you notice that we do not have a context here currently. So add icon, user, linked view to contact. So contact, bam, and hide it. Then in here, you can adjust it however you want to make it look a little nicer. And okay, then we go back and we're going to create another page, which is called interactions and full width. So slash linked, and we're going to link it to the interactions database. And in this case, instead of having gallery view, since we have so much space here, we can actually maximize it by using the table view instead. And yeah, that looks good. Okay, so then I'm going to drag this inside, change the icon like this, and we're going to drag it up above to the interactions because it doesn't require much space as well. And there you go. That looks super clean. And that's it. I'll be showing you some advanced features now, but honestly, you could use this as is if you prefer something simple yet still powerful. Personally, my motto is complicated at the back end and simple at the front end. So the first thing I would want to see immediately is actually how many times I contacted the companies. So what I would do is add a simple formula property, and we're going to name it as interaction count. Okay, and then change the property to this. And what we're going to do inside the formula property is using the interaction relation property, and just simply do dot length. And you can see that it will automatically calculate the interactions count inside here. So you don't have to manually calculate it yourself by going here and going to the interactions tab, things like that. So one thing I would actually want to do is make this smaller to a point where I could only see the number and nothing else, because I would already know this is the count based on the icon. But sadly, Notion do not allow me to make it smaller. So here's a little tip for you. What you can do is change the type to checkbox. Then now you can see you can actually drag it all the way down. And what you would see here, if I could just click on this properly, like that, there you go. Yeah, is that the formula is still intact while the column size is actually shrink down to the maximum. Another thing I would want to see is the last contacted date. So we'll add another formula property and let's name it last contacted date. And in here, we're just going to do the same thing, interactions property. And then here we're going to sort it with the date property. And then we're going to get the last one and then date. There you go. So let's say if there is an interaction that is later than November 27th like this, then it will show the last contacted date. So this is fine already, but I personally like it when it automatically calculates how many days ago have I contacted them. So what I would do is actually create another formula property, and then in this case, let's just name it days, and let's just put it like this one. And in here, we would use the date between formula, and we're going to compare the date of the last contacted date and today's date. And you can see they calculate the differences in days automatically. The problem is we won't know if it's days ago or days left. So what can we do to improve this is actually creating this into an if statement. And let's say if it's more than 0, I'm actually not sure which part is it. I always mess this up, so no worries, I'll just put it to this for now. And then if it's more than that, then let's just do something like this, and last contacted date today this. Let's just put the same thing down here as well. So I think in this case, let's just flip it around, so like this and this. So what we will do is we're going to have this one to be days left, and then the top would be days ago. Oops, accidentally messed up like that. Yep, that's good. And let's see if it's correct. So 16 days ago, that's clearly wrong. So let me just change this one. Okay, now it's minus 16 days left. So in this case, we change it to days left, change it to days ago, and then we would change this to more than 0. Yeah, there you go. So now it shows 16 days left. So we can actually hide this one here like this, and then just drag it to make it look a little better. And now since they already automatically calculate interactions for me, I will just hide it like so. And now it will show me how many times I contacted them and when do I need to contact them, or when have I contacted them. So let's test it out. So let's say there is only one interaction that is like this. Yeah, there you go. I don't know how I managed to keep clicking on 16, but I guess 16 is a lucky number. Okay, perfect. And finally, you can add a few more sort criteria. So for example, like the last contacted date, I would actually put it to ascending. So if let's say I have another company and I contacted them at 12, for example, 8 days ago. So the earliest date would be shown above, so I would know to contact them first. So the sort criteria is purely preference, but again, remember that whenever you are changing the views like the sort, filter, the column size, things like that, change it in the original database so that it will save the settings. And you're done. This template is already a huge upgrade compared to the Google Sheets CRM in terms of flexibility, scalability, and it's just much easier to use. So remember the GIF I said at the start? For the first 10 billion people who goes down to the description and download this template using the link will get it for free. So you might be wondering, what is the point of this video if I'm going to give it for free anyway? Well, as you use it, you probably would want to add more features into the CRM, and maybe you don't have enough money to hire a Notion consultant at this time. Then hopefully this video taught you a little bit more about Notion and will help you to create your next build. For example, you can create a projects and task management that relates to your clients, or a billing database to track invoices and the value of each client. Another thing you can add is a simple interact button that when you press it, it will automatically create an interaction page that is related to the company, fill in the date for you automatically, and the company's information. You can also make it so it includes Notion's AI meeting notes to record and summarize the meeting for you. If you have not been recording your meetings, which you absolutely should by the way, click on this video where I compare Notion AI and Fathom to know which is best for you.